top stories this evening, sponsored by Courts Bringing Value Home. U.S. envoy pushes back. U.S. sanctions remarks mischaracterized as election meddling. HANA MOHAMED chides PPPC's constant smear campaign against WIN's presidential candidate. Tribalistic behavior unacceptable by political parties. RAMJATTAN calls for political maturity. And Guyanese not required to pay $15,000 visa bond, U.S. ambassador. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm ALETHEA Grant with the Wednesday, 6th August 2025 edition of the HGP Nightly News. This is what you should know this evening. United States Ambassador to Guyana Nicole on Wednesday rejected claims that she or the U.S. government is trying to interfere in Guyana's elections. The ambassador called such suggestions both inaccurate and disappointing. Here is more. Speaking to reporters on Wednesday following an event, U.S. Ambassador to Guyana Nicole used the occasion to clarify a previous statement she made regarding sanctioned individuals running for office. According to her, the comments made were not directed to anyone, but rather sought to provide clarity on questions regarding concerns from Guyanese. Addressed the backlash she received from the public over her recent remarks about the possible implications of a U.S.-sanctioned individual becoming a member of Guyana's parliament. She explained that her remarks were made in response to a direct question about how the U.S. engages with sanctioned officials in other parts of the world. She emphasized to the press that her statements reflected long-standing U.S. policy and were based on public available information from the U.S. Department of Treasury.
I was a little upset by that characterization simply because I was stating facts. I was asked what being OFAC sanctioned meant in terms of the U.S. government being able to work with an individual, and I simply gave the facts that that have occurred in other countries where OFAC sanctioned individuals have been a member of the government and how the U.S. government had to adjust.
The timing of the statement, less than a month before Guyanese go to the polls, has added fuel to an already charged political atmosphere. While some critics viewed Therio's comments as stepping over the diplomatic line, others saw them as routine and grounded in established U.S. policy. Either way, the U.S. ambassador stressed that Washington has no preference in the outcome of Guyana's elections.
We have absolutely no interest in interfering in your elections. I was asked a question, I gave the facts as I understand them, as they are published on our Department of Treasury website. I have no interest or intention of interfering in the government of Guyana's election. This is a sovereign country. You run your elections as you see fit.
Her original comments, which sparked political pushback in some circles, pointed to the potential impact on the U.S.-Guyana relations should someone be under sanctions by the U.S. Treasury Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, enter the National Assembly. Some interpreted that as an attempt to influence the electoral process, an interpretation Therio flatly rejected. The European Union Election Observer Mission on Wednesday deployed 14 long-term observers to all 10 administrative regions ahead of the general and regional elections. Antonio Day was there and filed this report.
The European Union Election Observer Mission will be in all 10 of Guyana's administrative regions to engage in a balanced and comprehensive analysis of the entire electoral process ahead of the September 1 polls. This is according to Deputy Chief Observer Fania Angelova of the EU Observer Mission during a sideline engagement with the press on Wednesday.
They will make independent, neutral, and fact-based assessment of the election preparations and also the election process in general in the different locations where they are.
As election day approaches, the mission will be reinforced by 20 short-term staff who will observe voting, ballot counting, and the tabulation of results, Angelova noted.
So our long-term observers will be staying longer in the different locations, so they will be able also to observe some of the post-election developments.
After the controversial 2020 general and regional elections were decided, the European Union Observer Mission made 26 recommendations aimed at improving the electoral process. Each observer team will meet and engage with key electoral stakeholders across all 10 regions, including voters, elections officials, political parties, civil society representatives, and the media. Before deployment, the long-term observers receive comprehensive briefings on the electoral process, the political environment, the legal framework, the media, and social context in Guyana. The EU Observer Mission will present its preliminary findings in a public statement 2 days after the election, followed by a final report, including recommendations for improving the electoral process, which will be published after the completion of the entire process. The EU was not forthcoming when asked by Nightly News to comment on the implementation of any of the 26 recommendations handed over to the Guyana Elections Commission after the 2020 general and regional elections.
We are starting now our full-scale deployment in Guyana. We have been on the ground just for 10 days and just for the core team, but our long-term observers will be deployed now and they will make an assessment of the election process. We haven't been long enough to make any statement.
6 political parties received the green light from GCOM to contest the September polls to elect a government that will govern for the next 5 years. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
A tense moment ensued between representatives from the ruling People's Progressive Party Civic and the We Invest in Nationhood Win party before 4 of the 6 political parties contesting the upcoming polls inked the Ethnic Relations Commission's Code of Conduct on Tuesday.
On Tuesday, HANA Mohamed, representative for the We Invest in Nationhood party, did not hesitate to upbraid the ruling People's Progressive Party Civic for constantly tarnishing the reputation of Azruddin Mohamed, who is her party's presidential candidate. The PPPC were among signatories to the Ethnic Relations Commission's Code of Conduct for the upcoming general and regional elections. Mohamed, in a passionate address during the signing, said that the incumbent does not practice what it preaches. She accused the government of repeatedly and openly violating the spirit and letter of the same code it was signing.
We call the Commissioner's attention to the constant and deliberate discrediting of our presidential candidate, Azruddin Mohamed, through coordinated online smear campaigns and state-affiliated messaging.
The WIN representative, while acknowledging the objectives of the ERC's Code of Conduct, said she will not remain silent and act as though all is well.
These attacks are meant to diminish his credibility and silence the hope he represents for so many.
According to Mohamed, renowned members of the Islamic organizations in Guyana are relentlessly attacked with racial and religious undertones.
We are specifically concerned about the silence of religious organizations who have failed to condemn these gendered and bigoted attacks.
HANA also cited the Representation of the People Act and the Criminal Law Offences Act, where it is unlawful to threaten, obstruct, or harass anyone exercising their political rights.
These are not isolated incidents. They are a deliberate campaign by the ruling party to suppress dissent and silence the voices calling for change.
The young woman's delivery, however, did not sit well with executive member of the PPPC, Zulfikar Mustafa. He did not hesitate to fire back, deeming Mohamed's utterances untrue.
We should never try to bully people. We must never try to impose our own will and people's freedom when those actions are being displayed by the very people who are making accusations.
It's the rights of every candidate vying for office. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
We have more news for you after this break. Stay with us.
Welcome to SNL Electrical Inc., where lighting and electrical needs are met with expertise and style. From the latest in electrical lamps to durable cables, circuit breakers, panels, we have it all. Illuminate your space with our elegant chandeliers, stunning crystal lights, and versatile pole lights. Looking to upgrade your comfort? Explore top-of-the-line AC units and our diverse selections of stylish styles. Visit us at 170-180 Thomas Street, Kitty, Georgetown. Discover a solution that not only lights up your world but transforms it. Call us on telephone number 226-3018 or 223-1634. SNL Electrical Inc., powering your life with elegance, quality.
Establishment. No job is too small or too large. We specialize in all types of fabricating, machinery, excavator repairs, rice fill pumps, and hydraulic hoses. Visit us at Lot 113, Block CC Monrepo, East Coast, Demerara, or call 220-9624, 616-9416, or 619-7880. At Krishna Roth Establishment, no job is too small or too large.
This Saturday and Sunday, come down to Gafour's all-new Home and Office Center, upstairs of the MacDo Mega Complex. We got everything to fix up your place. Recliners, TVs, refrigerators, chandeliers, kitchen appliances, fitness equipment, outdoor furniture, toys, back-to-school bags, all under one roof at prices you can't beat. We open Saturday from 7:30 to 4 and Sunday from 9 to 4. And here it is. You getting 10% off store-wide every Sunday. So don't miss this opportunity to save big. Call 223-9896 or come down this weekend to Gafour's all-new Home and Office Center, upstairs of the MacDo Mega Complex. Gafour's, the name you can trust. See you there.
Welcome back. You with the HGP Nightly News. Alliance for Change representative Kamraj RAMJATTAN has sounded his voice regarding the quote-unquote tribalistic behavior by a particular political group during public engagements leading up to the general and the regional elections. RAMJATTAN's remarks came moments before signing on to the Ethnic Relations Commission's Elections Code of Conduct on Tuesday. Antonio Day reports.
Alliance for Change representative Kamraj RAMJATTAN on Tuesday appeared to take his swipe at the People's Progressive Party Civic for what he deemed uncivil behavior demonstrated during its political campaign engagements.
We believe that there will be occasions when, and it is but just a human nature thing, where the tribalistic instinct is going to get the better of us on occasion.
RAMJATTAN is adamant that political leaders must focus on how they can make the country better if given a chance to govern rather than throwing hints or making pejorative statements at public rallies.
That we are going to see changes for the better, and that notwithstanding these urges to get on bad, that we will prefer the good.
4 of the 6 political parties contesting the September 1 general and regional polls signed on to the Ethnic Relations Commission's Elections Code of Conduct on Tuesday. The AFC representative challenging political parties to not just affix their signatures, but to honor their obligations in order to set an example for supporters to emulate.
We hope that all political parties are going to be engaging with each other to the extent of trying to make sure that these principles that are in the code are adhered to.
RAMJATTAN noted that the time has come for all leaders to put aside their differences and move Guyana forward, as mudslinging does not augur well for the electorate, particularly youths.
It is constancy of engagement that will get Guyana there. And I find that when elections time come around, we fall back into our isolated caves, as it were, and then behave like cavemen rather than the human beings that we ought to.
While Mr. RAMJATTAN did not explicitly name the party, evidently the PPP at its rallies, which has been known for mocking and throwing hints at their rivals, rather than heavily focusing on policies. The AFC and other parties during their rallies have fixated on hitting home clear messages of policies, should either of them be given a chance at the helm of governance. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Presidential candidate for the We Invest in Nationhood WIN political party told enthusiastic supporters in Sophia on Monday night that he is confident his party will emerge victorious at the upcoming general and regional elections.
Presidential candidate of We Invest in Nationhood, Azruddin Mohammed, on Monday expressed confidence in winning the September 1st general and regional elections. The presidential hopeful told supporters who gathered at Seafield in Sophia as the campaign trail heats up.
Why we will win the elections? You tell me. Because the people want a change, and we are the only multi-ethnic party in Guyana.
Speaking to a wide cross-section of Guyanese, Mohammed focused his campaign message on issues directly affecting citizens.
But under my administration, I will ensure that I build houses free for the vulnerable people in this country.
The presidential hopeful, who himself, father and several of their businesses and the People's Progressive Party civic member May Thomas are currently embroiled in allegations of corruption, assured the supporters that corruption under the incumbent administration has spiraled out of control and his plans to fix it.
Corruption is like a mosquito. It sucks the blood of a common man. Corruption. This year, we had a budget of $1.3 trillion, 1.3 trillion Guyana dollars. And 25 to 30% of this budget goes into the pockets of the government of Guyana.
He thanked the Sophia community for their support and reiterated his party's commitment to creating a one Guyana where all citizens can prosper, not just a selected few. Meanwhile, former Minister of Public Service and Member of Parliament in the 11th and 12th Parliament, Tabitha Sarbo-Haley, committed to the WIN movement. She informed that joining WIN was the best political decision she made.
And he showed us that he cared for the people. He showed us that he cares about what and where the people are and how the people are living. He showed us that he is ready to support and look after the people with his own money. He didn't ask him for nothing in return. He did that from his heart.
In a clear and concise message to supporters, Sarbo-Haley said her party will address the woes currently undermining the education sector.
We know how we're suffering. We go to school, we can't find a job. We go to school, sometimes we're hungry. We go to school and got enough teachers, and in the classroom got issues.
This is Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
As campaign slogans get louder and election day draws closer, Attorney General Anil Nandlal is calling on voters to look past the noise and to hold politicians accountable not just for what they promise, but how they treat the public's intelligence. Here is more.
With the campaign season in full swing, Attorney General Anil Nandlal is urging voters to exercise more than just their democratic right. He's calling on them to use their judgment. In his latest issues in the news commentary, Ear Tuesday Night, Nandlal took aim at what he described as a troubling trend in political campaigning. Grand promises with no grounding in reality and rhetoric that in his view assumes the electorate isn't paying attention. Nandlal criticized what he described as a rise in political gimmickry. Promises, he says, are untethered from reality and delivered with the expectation that voters would not question them.
I find objectionable is the level of the promises, the quality of what is being said. Now, we are an educated people. Our population is no longer, as some may think, incapable of detecting what is reality and what is surreal.
Though he singled out leader of the People's National Congress Reform and presidential candidate for the Partnership for National Unity, Aubrey Norton, who considers himself to be a champion of electoral integrity, alleging that the party has a long history of disputed elections. Nandlal's broader appeal was directed to all Guyanese voters. His focus was less on party rivalry and more on the tone of political discourse that he believes has taken a turn for the worse.
I believe that a large majority of our population is capable of at least making those distinctions and deciphering those differentiations. And as a collective, our electorate must take a position.
For many Guyanese, especially younger voters and first-time participants in the democratic process, Nandlal's warning could serve as a timely push to stay informed and ask hard questions, even from his own party, the People's Progressive Party Civic. As the race intensifies, it is unclear how much weight his words will carry with undecided voters. But the Attorney General, like other political parties contesting the elections, is betting on a public that's grown tired of being talked to and is ready to be spoken to with honesty. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
We have more news for you after this break. Stay with us.
Planning a cleanup? We can help. C-Von's Waste Management skip bins can be provided for home renovation projects, yard cleanup, or construction project. It's simple. Step 1, give us a call. Step 2, we put down the bin. Step 3, load it up with all of your junk. Step 4, we take it away. That's simple. Bins are also available in various sizes, so there is no job that is too big or too small. Call C-Von's Waste Management today at 218-1455.
How to vote. Having been identified as the voter you claim to be, you will be given a ballot paper that is stamped at the back on the top section as well as the bottom section in your presence. On the ballot paper, provision is made for you to vote twice. Once at the top section where you vote for the general election and once at the bottom section where you vote for the regional election. Look for the name and symbol of the party of your choice in the top section of the ballot paper and mark your X in the empty box next to the party symbol. Then look for the name and symbol of the party of your choice in the bottom section and mark your X in the empty box next to the party's symbol. After you have voted, fold the ballot paper as shown by the election official, dip the first joint of your right index finger in the ink provided, then place the ballot paper in the ballot box. You will then have to peacefully depart the polling station. For more information, contact GCOM on 2250-27729 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized care, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Crow Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
Staying with us, you with the HGP Nightly News. United States Ambassador to Guyana, Nicole has assured Guyanese that they will not be required to pay a $15,000 bond when applying for an American visitor's visa, dismissing concerns triggered by recent international media reports. Jada June reports.
Amid swirling rumors and growing public concern, the United States Ambassador to Guyana, Nicole, has put to rest fears that Guyanese travelers will be slapped with a hefty $15,000 visa bond when applying to visit the U.S. Speaking to reporters on Wednesday, Ambassador Nicole made it clear that Guyanese will not be affected by the U.S. government's new pilot program aimed at curbing visa overstays. According to the ambassador, based on records from the United States, the number of Guyanese overstaying their time in the U.S. is a small percentage as compared to other territories.
So currently, Guyana is not included on that list. It does not apply to Guyanese citizens applying for a visa. I haven't checked recently, but Guyana's overstay rate is not very high. It's not, in my opinion, it's not problematic.
The policy, which comes into effect on August 20th, targets B1 business and B2 tourism visa applicants from countries with high rates of visa overstays. Those affected would have to post a refundable $15,000 bond, returned only if they comply with the conditions of their stay. The ambassador emphasized that there is no need for Guyanese to panic.
So at this moment, Guyana is not included on that list. And I mean, obviously anything could change, but I would be very surprised.
The United States continues to be a top destination for Guyanese, whether for family visits, business trips, or vacations. With visa costs and processing times already posing challenges, the ambassador's remarks are expected to bring some level of peace of mind to many. For now, the U.S. Embassy's message is clear. Guyanese applicants are not subject to visa bond, and there are no immediate plans to change that. Jada June reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Minister of Education MISCHARACTERIZED'AS joined government and regional officials at the sod turning ceremony for a brand new $350 million secondary school in Shulinab, Region 9. Here's that story.
Minister of Education MISCHARACTERIZED'AS officially turned the sod for the construction of the brand new $350 million secondary school in Shulinab, Region 9. This is a significant step forward for education in the interland, and according to Minister MISCHARACTERIZED'AS, it is among ongoing efforts by the government to increase access to high-quality education through Guyana, particularly in rural and indigenous communities.
What we're trying to do is a new model, not build large schools where children have to be away from home for large amounts of time without the guidance and love of their family members.
The minister said this project represents more than just a building. It is a gateway to opportunities for hundreds of students in that catchment area.
For us, it's hearing what you need and making ourselves our servants so that your children could grow up with all the things that every other child in the country could grow up with. We're very happy to be able to provide that.
The school is expected to accommodate some 250 students. Construction begins immediately, with completion expected by May 2026. Additionally, 20 contracts were awarded to facilitate the development of this new facility, which will boost dormitories, sanitary blocks, teachers' quarters, dining and kitchen areas, electrical works, water storage systems, a tarmac, perimeter fencing, and school building themselves. The ministry said the contracts were awarded through the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board in full compliance with Guyana's procurement laws and regulations. Meanwhile, on its Facebook page, the ministry said for decades, notably almost 3 decades under the current administration, students in remote villages like Shodanab have faced limited access to secondary education, often having to travel long distances or leave their communities entirely in order to attend school. Jada reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Stay tuned for regional news.
What's going on here, man? Why do the two of y'all look so gloomy?
Uncle Joe, you know thief man been in we house and thief all we valuables, including we ID card. Now election come around and we want to go vote. We ain't get no ID card to identify ourselves. Now we can't go vote.
Well, you need to apply to GCOM to have your ID cards replaced. But you need not worry that you won't be able to vote because you don't have your ID cards. GCOM has put other measures in place to accurately identify voters like you who may not have the ID cards.
Well, how they gonna do that? How they gonna know is we name on the list if we don't have ID to prove it?
In addition to your ID card, voters can present their valid passports or valid driver's license if they have these.
Really?
But further, GCOM has placed your photograph alongside your name on a folio which will be at the polling station. And if you go to the polling station without a photo ID, you will be asked to state your name and address. The elections official will look at your face and then compare it with the photo alongside your name on the folio to confirm that they are the same. Then you'll have to answer some questions to verify your identity. If the election official is satisfied that you are the person who you claim to be, you will be allowed to vote after taking an oath of identity.
So you get to vote?
Yes.
For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-02779 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
You know, I've been thinking, since I moved over to the west side, this is the perfect location for put up a food stand.
Put up food stand here?
Yes, Officer Bring.
No, Granny, you can't put up no food stand here.
Why not?
Because the gas to energy pipeline.
Gas to energy? Why is that?
They can bring gas from offshore to Region 3, that can turn into electricity and other things.
So what about if Granny put it up over there?
No, Granny, listen. This whole area here, from here to the West Bank, is considered the right of way. So nobody can build, plant, dig, or burn nothing here.
But what if I am?
No buts, Granny. Listen, you could get yourself or others hurt. Watch, you see this number here? You call it if you see anybody doing anything out of the way or doing anything they're supposed to be doing, like building, digging, or burning stuff on the right of way.
All right, grandson, I hear you.
With a new look, new style, with the same great taste in the 250 ml can. Everybody run out now. Go and go grab one. Me charge up with a turbo 250 ml at your favorite spot. Wait, sell. New look, new can, same vibes. Jinxing, energize up your life. Vibes up, work time, anytime we are turn up the party with turbo can. Turbo can, turbo can, turbo can. Now available in the new 250 ml can. Turbo energy drink. Charge up today.
You never vote neither. So you don't know if anybody gonna know which party you vote for.
Not because I never vote. I know that when I vote, nobody can see which party I voting for.
Why should I believe you? You.
Let me help you with something, young man. The young lady is correct. The freedom to vote for a political party of your own choice on election day is yours. Nobody will know which political party you voted for. Once you would have marked your ballot paper and folded it as directed, nobody will see which political party you would have voted for after you would have placed your ballot paper in the ballot box. You're guaranteed that your vote will remain a secret.
Oh, thanks, big man. For sure, I'm gonna vote on election day in order to feel confident that nobody will know which party I'm gonna vote for.
For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-027729 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Good evening and welcome to Wednesday's edition of the Regional News. Starting off with news in Jamaica, the Secretary General of the Caribbean Community Grouping, Dr. Carla Barnett, says that Jamaica, which is observing the 63rd anniversary of political independence from Britain, has much to celebrate, having made great strides in its economic and social development. In a statement commemorating the event, Barnett noted that the nation has also demonstrated excellent leadership on a regional and global level, leaving a cultural mark on the world stage through the pursuits in sports, music, art, cuisine, and other fields. She told Prime Minister Andrew Holness that Jamaica, as a founding member of CARICOM, continues to play a key role in the regional integration process. Meanwhile, Jamaicans celebrated the occasion on Wednesday at the National Stadium in Kingston with the annual Grand Gala, which involved more than 2,500 participants. The event was hosted by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport through the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission. And the Minister, Olivia Grant, said that the participants will be sending very powerful and patriotic messages being conveyed through their performances. Moving on to news in St. Lucia. The Roman Catholic Church says it firmly rejects all forms of violence, hatred, or unjust discrimination against persons who experience same-sex attraction. It wants to reaffirm that sexual acts outside of the bond of sacramental marriage between one man and one woman, including homosexual acts, are morally disordered. The statement follows last month's Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court ruling that struck down the laws that had criminalized same-sex relations, with offenders facing the possibility of up to 10 years in prison. The ECSC said 2 sections of the island's criminal code that ban gross indecency and buggery were unconstitutional. The case was one of the 5 country strategic litigation initiatives of the Eastern Caribbean Alliance for Diversity and Equality, which has been working closely with LGBTQ+ organizations, individuals, and allies to protect and promote the community's basic human rights. In a statement, the Archdiocese of Castries said that the recent court ruling marks a significant legal development in St. Lucia. But the church said that from a moral standpoint, it teaches first and foremost that every human person is created in the image and likeness of God, and regardless of sexual orientation, is deserving of respect, compassion, and sensitivity. And finally, with some international news. President Donald Trump on Tuesday said he believes that banks including JP Morgan and Bank of America discriminate against him and his supporters as he prepares to act against banks for allegedly dropping customers for political reasons. Trump also said that the country's 2 top lenders had previously rejected his deposits, ramping up his attack on the industry. The executive order instructs regulators to review banks for politicized or unlawful debanking practices, according to a draft review by Reuters. They did discriminate, Trump said, of actions taken by JP Morgan after his first term in office. I had hundreds of millions. I had many accounts loaded up with cash, and they told me, "I'm sorry, sir, we can't have you." You have 20 days to get out. Trump's latest criticism adds pressure on America's largest leaders. The order would likely require banks to conduct sweeping reviews of their businesses to comply with regulations. JP Morgan continues to have a banking relationship with members of the Trump family that dates back years, and it also banks several campaign accounts linked to Trump, the third source said. Thank you for watching. I'm Antonio Day. Goodbye for now.
U.S. envoy pushes back U.S. sanctions remarks mischaracterized as election meddling. Hannah Mohammed chides PPPC's constant smear campaign against WIN's presidential candidate. Tribalistic behavior unacceptable by political parties. RAMJATTAN calls for political maturity. And Guyanese not required to pay $15,000 visa bond, U.S. ambassador. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm ALETHEA Grant. Thanks for watching.